Assalamu alaikum class. Welcome to the second session on our series on career advice. आज के जो हमारे स्पीकर हैं वो हैं अली सिद्दीकी, who is my cousin. He is an engineering lead at Stripe right now. इससे पहले उनके वो बहुत सारी टीम्स को लीड कर चुके हैं in Microsoft, Oracle, Amazon and Yahoo as well. और let's see what he has to say.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम, मेरा नाम अली सिद्दीकी है। मेरी रहाइश सियाटल में है। ओरिजिनली मेरा ताल्लुक़ कराची से है। ये वीडियो मैं एयर यूनिवर्सिटी के स्टूडेंट्स के लिए रिकॉर्ड कर रहा हूँ। My goal with this video is to share some of my experiences in the industry, things that I've learned, and pass it on to you through this video. Let's start with the introduction. ओरिजिनली मैंने कराची में फास्ट ICS से कंप्यूटर साइंस में अंडरग्रेड किया था। दिसंबर 99 में मैं ग्रेजुएट हुआ था और जनवरी 2000 में मैंने अपना करियर स्टार्ट किया था एज अ सॉफ्टवेयर इंजीनियर इन कराची। I stayed in Karachi for roughly a year and a half. Then I moved to United States with a company. I spent 3 years in Silicon Valley working for Cisco Systems and some small companies. Then I moved to Los Angeles and worked at Yahoo as a software engineer for 4 to 5 years. In 2009, I moved to Amazon and worked in Amazon for roughly 5 years. I spent my time across many different divisions, including AWS, retail, and Kindle. Around the same time, I also did my master's in software management from Carnegie Mellon. And after Amazon, I moved to Microsoft for a couple of years as a software engineer. And then I joined Oracle in 2016. I took on management role in Oracle, started as a line manager, worked in the cloud division, grew through the ranks, went from line manager to be director of engineering, also got promoted to senior director for their identity and access management at some point in time. And then I left Oracle in 2019 and moved to Microsoft again. Microsoft में जो मेरी last job थी वो cloud data center cyber security से related थी. I was a group manager there. And then earlier this year, I moved to Stripe in Feb 2021. Stripe is a payment processor. It helps company transfer money from basically one account to another account. And it powers a lot of businesses like Uber, Amazon, Shopify, Lyft, DoorDash. There are millions of customers around the world or millions of businesses around the world that use Stripe software. This video there are a couple of topics that I want to touch upon. The first one is theoretical knowledge versus professional skills. At university, even in our time, and both in Pakistan as well as in United States, there was a lot of focus on theoretical knowledge. And professional skills are something that university try to give, but they only have so much capability or so much capacity to pass it on. There are a couple of reasons for that in my personal perspective, and this is my personal opinion or perspective, however you want to think about it. उसका एक तो रीज़न ये है कि यूनिवर्सिटी एज ए इंस्टीट्यूट उसकी फाउंडेशन जो है वो इट्स अराउंड knowledge creation, knowledge generation, knowledge sharing, imparting knowledge from one set of people to another set of people, researching new fields. That's the premises of any university or educational institute. That has been like that for many, many years. It does not mean that this should not change. Many universities push the boundary and try to, have their industry arm as well, an industry research arm, and they partner with a lot of industry entities. But as a result, they are very limited, not very limited, but more focus on actual knowledge part of it, not on the skill part of it. Another reason is that because of that foundation, the opportunity at universities is not as scaled as in the industry. What I mean by that is, if you are doing a research in most of the universities, then there are exceptions to this, but most of the universities, when you do the research and when you learn the knowledge, you do the projects that have limited scale. You might be building a project that is used by maybe a couple of thousand people, but all of a sudden when you're graduated from the university and you end up in a company like, let's say, Amazon, or even companies in Pakistan these days, for example, Airlift or Bazaar, and these private startups, you have an opportunity to impact millions upon millions of people. Whatever you build get exposed very fast to millions of people, and that's something which is kind of limited to the industry. The foundation of the industry is to solve problem across uh, all of the population, the entire population of the world, while university is more focused on creating the foundation of the knowledge which will enable you to solve those problems. So whenever you're going through a university course, you're going through undergrad or master's program, you should keep in mind that these skills are kind of, that you're learning will have a much bigger impact once you get into the industry. But what you're acquiring as knowledge right now, that will provide the foundation for that activity. But right now, you don't have the scope or the scale at which you can impact millions of people within the institutional boundary of the university. So that's one thing I just wanted to share my personal perspective on. There's nothing wrong with this approach. There's, of course, like anything else, this can be improved, this can be better, but this is how it's founded, and you are not the first one going through it. Every single person who have gone through this institute, including myself, had to be a little bit patient to continue to learn the theoretical foundation until you are actually ready to apply yourself at scale. And that's another thing. Once you apply yourself at scale, the margin for error is very limited. So if your foundational knowledge is weak, the kind of mistakes you will make in the industry will be pretty bad. So right now, if your foundational knowledge is, if you focus on the foundation knowledge and make it strong, it will help you in the industry when you apply yourself at scale. The next topic is around career choices. I think some of you are electrical engineers, some of you are computer engineers. I am a software engineer by profession, so my field is little different. But taking a step back and looking at it from higher level, in terms of like little bit abstract level, I think the core engineering jobs are there in all different fields. For example, even if you're a mechanical engineer, there are mechanical jobs. There are industries like airline industry, or not airline specifically, but the industry that build एरोप्लेन्स लाइक आपके बोइंग हो गया, वहाँ पे मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग की बहुत सारी एप्लीकेशंस हैं. दे स्टिल हायर लॉट ऑफ मैकेनिकल इंजीनियर्स, राइट? So similarly, if you're an electrical engineer, I think at some point in time you'll go and work in a company like Schneider or Siemens or Mitsubishi, where you will build some power management systems, like आपकी PLCs type of system that you will build. Either you will build them or you will operate them, right? Depending on whether you will go and work in the core companies that build those systems, or you work in the companies which actually apply those systems in their environment. Jaise aapke, I think Karachi Electric would be one example where electrical engineers would be working, right? Similarly, for computer engineering, either you can go and work as a system engineer in some company jahan pe lot of servers are deployed, and you can be a system engineer. You can automate and the orchestration of those system engineer. You can engineering problems such as identifying the faults, detecting the faults, monitoring the faults, fixing the faults, reporting the faults. Those kind of system you can build as system engineer, or you can take a pre-built system, deploy it, and manage it and operate it, right? So those are core engineering jobs. And I'm sure in Pakistan, I've been away from Pakistan for a while, so I don't know exact opportunity that are there. But if you have the foundational knowledge and you go and apply yourself in new areas, I'm pretty sure, not new areas, but in those areas, in those fields in Pakistan industry, you will find those opportunities. And at this point in time, I will also suggest that don't limit yourself to just one country. think yourself as a global citizen, so the opportunities will open up. Like Middle East is a big market, for example. Australia is another big market. Far East countries like Singapore, Hong Kong, they are big markets as well. You can go and apply yourself there as well. Now the point is, where do you start, right? So as a starting point, whatever your core competency is, I would suggest that look for jobs, at least the starting jobs in that domain, and then over time, if you do your master's, let's say in business administration, or if you do your master's in, let's say, MIS, or if you do your master's in, let's say, computer science, then based on that, you can transition to another domain. Beside the core engineering jobs, there are also things like solopreneurship or entrepreneurship these days, which are coming up pretty fast. What is solopreneurship? Solopreneurship is when, as an individual, you basically build something. Creator economy is also another name for entrepreneurship. Gig economy is also another name for that. Many a times, people who are doing freelancing are part of solo entrepreneurship. People who are running vlogs, video logs, or blogs, those are also part of solopreneurship. Many people who were really famous engineers in the past or doctors in the past, all they are doing is solopreneurship, and they are just doing vlogging now, and they are making a lot of money out of it. And it's not just about money, it's also about impact. They are having a lot of positive impact through those activities as well. Entrepreneurship, unlike solopreneurship, is when you create your own company, you have a co-founder, you have a staff, you are not a one-man show, you have a lot of people helping you, and you grow that company, and you increase the customer base, and you grow the customer base through growing the employee base. And you may have one location or multiple location within one country or across many countries. So that's entrepreneurship, right? So think of solopreneurship as kind of a subdomain of entrepreneurship, but entrepreneurship is also very prevalent these days. From what I've known, many youngsters are actually trying to spin up their own startups. There's a lot of liquidity or a lot of liquid cash available in the market for funding. The good news is that a lot of it is actually documented and very well structured and available on the internet. So if you search for these things and educate yourself, it will be a very interesting journey. It will be more risky journey because the failure rate of startups is very high. Roughly 80% of them just go to zero, 15% make a break even, and then 5 to 3%, kind of a power law. You 5 to 3% grow tremendously. But even if they fail, the experience stay with you for rest of your life, which is amazing. If I were to relive last 20 years, entrepreneurship would definitely be one area that I would be very eager to learn and apply myself. So that's like career choices. If you are part of software engineering, I can give you a lot more details and a lot more structured choices, but my suggestion would be, whatever you are doing as a core domain, stick to that, start there, and then as you learn, apply yourself in new domains and change the domain at some point in time if you are more interested in other areas. As far as advice is concerned, that's the last topic I have, which is some kind of gems that I've collected over the last 21 years that I apply in my professional life, and I would like to pass it on to you. The first one is, time is the only true currency. It's one way. Last half an hour is gone forever. It's never ever coming back. So if you were to optimize for one thing and one thing only, optimize for time. आपका वक्त कभी वापस नहीं आने वाला, तो उस वक्त को बहुत एहतियात के साथ इस्तेमाल करें. पैसे से ज़्यादा अपने वक्त की कदर करें. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, अगर आप अपने वक्त की कदर करेंगे, पैसा, इम्पैक्ट, इन्फ्लुएंस, सारी चीज़ें खुद ब खुद आपको फॉलो करेंगी. The other thing is, whenever you are negotiating, let's say you are interviewing somewhere, you got a job offer, you have multiple job offers from across different companies, my suggestion would be to optimize for learning and impact, not optimize for salary and titles. The reason for that is, अगर आपका impact बड़ा है, आपकी learning बहुत ज़्यादा है किसी रोल में, तो पैसा और टाइटल खुद ब खुद आपको फॉलो करेंगे. लेकिन अगर आपको टाइटल बहुत अच्छा मिल गया है, पैसे बहुत अच्छे मिल गए, लेकिन आपकी लर्निंग नहीं हो रही, आपका इम्पैक्ट ग्रो नहीं कर रहा, तो ओवर टाइम आपके सैलरी और टाइटल भी चले जाएंगे. That has been my personal experience. I've switched a lot between different companies. I've worked in many different companies. Most of them are, of course, in North America, so I cannot generalize it to rest of the world. But in my experience, personal experience, you negotiate for learning and impact. If you find bigger learning or faster learning, actually not bigger learning, if you get faster learning and bigger impact somewhere, go work there instead of working somewhere where you have a bigger title and bigger salary. And in my experience, when I follow learning and impact growth, title and salaries automatically follow me. The fourth one is keep the big picture in mind. Don't think small, think bigger. You have much more potential than you actually think. You can realize that potential. The good news is that there have been millions upon maybe billions of people before you and I who have had much bigger impact and much bigger influence on the world. The way they did it by keeping a big picture in mind. If you keep a small picture, tunnel view of the future, you will not be able to grow yourself. You will not be able to grow your impact. Think broadly, think big, and then take baby steps toward that big thinking. Over a period of time, compound effect will kick in, and you'll be amazed how fast you will achieve your big picture. Last but not least, take risk. Don't play safe. You have time on your side right now. It goes really fast, but you're young. I'm assuming you're still young compared to me. So from that perspective, time is on your side relative to my personal time. So make good use of that time and take risk. And when you take risk, at times you will feel a little bit nauseated, little bit not sure what's going to happen. Stay calm, right? So the advice is take risk and stay calm, right? Don't lose your sleep too much when you take a risk. Take a risk and plan to mitigate the risk as much as possible, but don't lose your sleep too much over it. But at the same time, don't play too safe either. Take some big risk and you'll be happy, because over a period of time, 20 years down the line, when you look back, you will not have regrets. If you don't take risk, you will have regrets. Trust me on that. So this is all I had to say. I hope things really work out for you, and I wish you all the best for the future. Take care. If you want to get connected, I'm on LinkedIn. If you search for Ali Siddiqui, you will hit my profile. Ali Siddiqui at Stripe, you will hit my profile. And I wish you all the best. Take care. Khuda Hafiz.